Pete Griffiths is an avid bow hunter and internet sensation. He has 30 years experience travelling Australia and the world. He hunts on land, from the sky and in the ocean, and he has more near-death experiences from dangerous game than anyone I know. To him, the saying really is true. Everything in Australia wants to kill you. Pete Griffiths.
Copy.
Welcome, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I know you're busy. You're only here for a couple of days, right?
A couple of days.
Is this for the course you're doing?
Yes. So Advanced Communication Skills with Mike Irving. That's a company called Advanced Business Abilities. Right. So we work with like directors and business owners and stuff from mining and oil and gas, you name it.
Why are you doing that? I forgot to ask.
Yeah, cool. So that's to advance my communication skills with people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So better at communicating with people, and I suppose one of the key skills is learning to ask questions and listen to people as opposed to just talking.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You're not actually helping people.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, so, cool. I mean, how long is the course?
It's done now. We just done 3 days.
All right.
Yep. So we do that in person, and then we also do online. So the online starts on the 12th, I think.
Right.
And that goes for 12 weeks.
Man, like I was looking at your site, like iHunt Downunder.
Yeah.
Because there's an iHunt Australia too. Is that right?
I'm not sure. Oh, I got iHunt Downunder. That's it. Yeah.
I was just looking at Pete Griffiths and I found you, and I thought, what you're doing, I straight away went, I've got to talk to this guy. You know, like I've got friends that work up north, but it's something I've always been interested, but know nothing about.
Righto.
Like I've seen videos,
yep,
and even I've listened to other guys talking about it, because I know the other podcast, you know, Joe Rogan, he's a bow hunter, right?
Legend.
Yeah, he's a bow hunter, so I've heard him talking about it.
Yeah.
But I thought, man, like having you here to be able to just spend an hour, and I've got so many questions.
Far away, let's do this.
So first one is, how did you get introduced to hunting, and do you remember how old you were?
So my dad was worried about the what do you call it? Yeah, where you run out of food and all that sort of thing. You go into
like survival.
Nah, you go into
prepper mode.
No, come on, that's new stuff. Hey? No, you know when you like run out of money and food and all that sort of thing, and you got to go live off the land.
Okay.
You know, recession.
Oh, yeah.
It's a recession.
Yeah.
So he was thinking,
it's coming.
Yeah, if there's a recession coming, I want to make sure my kids can feed themselves.
Sure.
So he taught us to hunt. So from kids, tiny, we're learning to hunt. My brothers and sisters also learnt, but I stuck with it and they went mainstream.
How many brothers and sisters?
2 brothers, 1 sister.
Right.
Yep. So they can all hunt, but they mainly just stick to mainstream. And I hunt fish 24/7. My food comes out of a lake, out of the bush, somewhere.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think more people are drawn to that now because of the way the world's going, you know. And I think a lot of people are feeling there's a change in the air that's coming. You know, and when you talk about recession, I think we're already in a recession, but it hasn't hit yet. And it will be pretty big. And I always envy guys like you, because I'm thinking we're just going to be fucked. All us city folks are going to be fucked. But you lot out there just going to, go bush, and you're going to survive, you know.
Yeah, you just give me a call. I know the fishing spots.
You can map them out on the map, you know.
Go over here, bro.
But now I know you do what? You're in the water, you're on the land, and you're in the air.
Yeah.
What is your favorite and why?
Oh, that's a good question, man. They've all got their own things, you know, like bow hunting is psychological, massive with psychology. It's really psychological because you've got to keep yourself together to be able to shoot distance. I like shooting distance.
Right.
So I'll shoot with my bow out to, say, 180 metres, say, pretty accurately. 100 metres very, very accurately. I shoot rabbits at 100. Oh, yeah, but 100 out to 170 is further I've shot rabbits.
Wow.
So you've got to understand yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So just to pull it back and shoot it, or put the crosshairs on a gun and shoot something's one thing, but getting your breathing and then understanding what your head is doing.
And is it sort of anticipating the anticipation of the animal as well?
Yeah, it's being aware of yourself. Right. With the animal, I learn and study animal. I spend a lot of time watching them. I'll spend more time watching them than shooting at them, because I can't eat that many, let's be honest. So I like to study, and I like to know what they're doing. So if they are moving or standing or whatever they're doing, I got an idea what that mannerism is or what that posture is, and I get time. So I know what I can and can't do. No matter what you do, there's mistakes. But
so it's become like an instinct part of you now.
Something funny we should do. With bows or people, we've all got instinct around moving targets, not still targets.
Is that right?
Dude, this is crazy.
Is that like a DNA thing?
I'll show you. If you want to do it, I'll show you. It will freak you out. Anyone, you can bring some kids with you, I'll show you the DNA thing around it. So I've just learnt this, taking kids out and teaching them. And we want to get them shoot targets like distance, and because it really trains your mind. But what I'd do, I'd start them on moving targets from a ball about that big, about the size of a soccer ball, down to the size of a tennis ball, down to a golf ball. How long do you reckon it takes them to shoot the golf ball?
How long?
Yeah.
From beginning?
Yep. From not doing it to shooting the golf ball.
Mate, for me, it'd be like 2 days.
Nah. It won't take you any more than about 20 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, and kids. I'm talking little kids like this. I got footage of it. Film
It's just what a psychological, understanding the psychological game of instinctive, like
you got
breathing.
It. You got it. You name it. Ask Troy. I took Troy out. That was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. His instinct, I took him out hunting rabbits. He'd never used a bow, so we gave him this bow that was just crap. We gave him vanes or arrow with vanes that needed to be feathers because it kicks off the guard. He had 5 shots, 5 rabbits. Now, he had never done it before. We've all got our good bows, thinking, oh, yeah, he's not going to get anything. He'll be right. He wants to have a go, give him a go. So he took the shot, and the first shot hit the rabbit in the head. We're like, well, who the hell shot that? And it was him. So we chucked on thinking, oh, yeah, lucky. Anyway, so we moved around a bit more, found another one, and people shooting at it, missing it. And Troy's up, what the hell? That's his arrow again. Yep, shot again. 5 out of 5. Never shot a bow, all instinct, all moving.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you stick to instinct, no sights and whatnot, your head does the mass. So that's what I'm saying. It spins you out.
Yeah.
How quick your head does the mass.
Because you got to stop thinking logically. You know, you go by the instinct of it. It
just does it.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. You'll just do and you start thinking. You say, oh, I want to hit it, whatever. So just shoot it.
And then you're hooked.
And then
then you're hooked.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's some of the better hunting spots that you've been to in Australia and specifically WA?
Okay. Western Australia. I've hunted the desert. I've done that barefoot with a bow, with camel, and my deal was I couldn't spot them from a vehicle. I had to find them on foot.
Is this your own law? Or
Yeah.
Why barefoot? Are you crazy?
I don't like wearing shoes.
You're right, especially out in the desert as well.
Anywhere really, unless it's too prickly or sharp or whatever. But or too cold. I just done a couple of weeks in the snow. But you need shoes there. But no, I just don't like wearing shoes. I'd rather go without them. But yeah, the desert's probably the hardest. I like camels the best. They're the best eating. So I'd say the desert's pretty good.
See, not many people know we have the largest population of wild camels.
Correct.
In the world.
True. And we have the best bloodlines as well. We have the original bloodlines. Correct.
Because it came from Arabia, didn't it?
That's
back in the day.
Yes.
When I found that out, we were in Alice Springs. We went out on camels, and they were telling us all about how camels were introduced to Australia, and suddenly it's just become this population of wild camels in Australia.
Yeah, because they used them for the carts. If you see the old footage.
Yeah.
Then once they're finished with the carts, they just let them walk. So a camel will go get a drink, and you won't see him for 2 weeks.
They're not in WA though, are they?
Camels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, heaps.
I've never seen them. I've seen wild donkeys. I've seen horse brumbies.
Yeah, so the brumbies will go. I found the horses further into the desert than anything, and then I found the donkeys and I found the camels. But the camels will go over here.
Oh, wow.
But where you were with the camels and the donkeys and the horses, camels wouldn't be far from there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you were saying before I interrupted you, the spots in Australia. You said the desert's
good country.
One of your favourites.
Yeah, because it's a challenge. It's a real challenge. So that's about it. The rest of WA, because out there it's all station country, so it's big country. Like on the east coast, there's some big country, but if you come south, it's mainly just farming or government land where you can't go in. So, and the good land anywhere else you go is just private property.
Right.
So that's a difficult thing about WA. You need to gain access.
Sure.
And gaining access, probably the biggest questions are around that when it comes to hunting. How do I get access? So I'd have over 600 properties in West Australia. Not a problem. That was over a year ago.
Because they know you too, right?
Yeah, well, they know, when you go in there with value.
Mm.
You know what I mean? What can I give you? It's not like, well, I'm doing you a favour by running around and shooting stuff. It's not really a favour. If they wanted to get rid of something, they'll have family members. They can get one of the choppers to do it. They'll wipe it out. So you're not really doing them a favour, if that makes sense. So if you can connect with them, communication, if you can connect with them and maybe, fix fences. I'm a spiky by trade, so I'm happy to use that. And I've worked on farms, grown up on, out the bush farms and whatnot. So I understand cattle and sheep and goats and whatnot. So I've got that service I can supply. So letting them know that they see value, and you watch them tick over and they find out, is there something I can do for you?
Sure.
I'm giving, man. Like, I come and take something from someone that's not fair trade.
Yeah, that's like when we were filming with the Indigenous up north. I said to the guys that came with me, I said, the first thing you do is do not take your cameras out on the first day. Like, sit down, talk about stories. And the guy I went with was half Egyptian, half Syrian, and he had tats of all the, he had Egyptian tattoos of his, his heritage. Yeah, and all the Syrian Arabic writing on this hand. So he was sharing the pictures, of his family line. And he was a cook by trade. So he was, sharing stories about that. I was sharing more the spiritual stories that came from Burma, where my family was originally from, and how the spirits used to reside in the trees of this is the old law, before Buddhism. And they were relating their spiritual stories, which is very similar. But mate, after that first day, we were like family. And it just made such a difference because they were telling us to take the camera out, Wayne, shoot this and come over here and shoot this. Because it's all about giving, because they've had so many white guys going up and take everything.
100% agree.
So, for us, they were as interested in our stories as we were theirs. And by the end of it, we became like a family just because we shared as much as they shared, in that way. When you said the desert was challenging, Pete, tell us some of the challenges. Like, I'm a city guy, mate. So.
Right, the deserts. So it's not what you think it is. It's not just like that, sand and flat. There's plenty of trees out there. But the desert is flat. There's heaps of trees, but it's not just like flat sand,
sure,
like you see in the movies. So you got plenty of trees, and there are sort of undulations in there, but not a lot. But it is the easiest place to get lost. You can't just turn around and go, I'm going to go to that hill or that tree. So I don't carry GPS.
Oh, you don't carry compass?
I've just got one. No, I was carrying nothing. No, dude, I go,
crazy bastard.
I go walk about to see where I end up. I'm like, I usually say I'm not sure when I'll be back, but I don't tell anyone where I'm going. So we'll see. But yeah, so I've just been given a GPS, but just don't run them. Hey, I just get to know where I'm going and what I'm doing. And but I did. When I went in the desert the last time and I got those 2 camels, I got lost and I was 10 kilometres from the car on the same road. And I'm thinking, I'm sure this is the track going the right direction. And I walked out, I thought there's no tyre tracks on it. I'm sure my car's that way. So I walked 2 Ks, imagine the stress, 2 Ks.
That's how people die out there.
Yeah, it is. And no water. So, and that's why I like learning me bush tucker in the country, so I know I can find something. So yeah, and it's cold, brother. It's cold at night. But yeah, I managed to get all the way up to about, I think I'd done 7 Ks and walked back a K, and I thought, nah, just keep going. Turned around and done that K again.
Oh, God.
Mate, I got up to like 9.5 Ks or whatever it was, because I ended up putting on my odometer on my car. And I got up there and I was just about to turn around and come around like there's this corner. And it looked a long way. I thought, well, it's about 500 metres. I thought, I was going to turn around. I thought, I'll walk up to that corner. So I finally get to this corner. Whole time telling myself, turn around. Get to the corner, my freaking car's right there, 200 metres away.
Oh.
It's like, oh, mate. And I was going to do the 10 Ks the other way. You know what I mean? It must be the other way.
Is there time, like where Pete Griffiths suddenly goes, yeah, I'm in the shit.
Yeah, there.
That was it.
Yeah, dude.
Especially getting lost out there, man. Like, honestly,
yeah.
Just pull your chair that way a tiny bit. You'll find it. Yeah, that's right. I just don't want to lose that pretty face, Pete.
Righto.
Yeah. Bring the mic towards you a little bit instead of aiming at the camera.
Like that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Wow. So
yeah, so that's hectic. Yeah, you do get this feeling like, I don't know, it's not like you're gonna die, but it's like you're lost. You have no idea where you are. It's like your batteries have just run out. Your heart sinks. I had it actually in Darwin again, not that long ago, and I could just watch the sun, so I know what east and west is. So that's really important. Freaking cloud cover come in. Couldn't find it, but then I was on a station, so big paddocks. So I thought, oh, worst case, so the paddock's about 4 or 5 k's long. I've only got to run 4 or 5 k's and I'll hit a fence, or 10 k's worst case. So I end up running. I was ready to camp under a tree. And I thought, stuff, I'm going to run, hit this fence. I was going the opposite bloody direction. Couldn't see the sun going down because of the clouds.
Yeah.
And there was a bit of light from the sun, bit of light from the moon. So I was like, what do you do?
Jesus.
I went towards the wrong one. So anyway.
And it's so easy out there. You hear like tourists coming in, just leaving their truck, and then they find their bodies, you know, like air search, you know, going through, and they find their bodies because once they leave their truck, they don't realise. I remember even some of the SAS guys were saying, you know, the Australian SAS is toughest in the world. You know, we've got the landscape, we've got the desert, we've got the mountains, we've got the hills, we've got the snow, everything in this one country, you know. But someone like you going out, and I can imagine me following you, and if you get lost, I'm just going to be sitting there, I'll be shitting myself.
Yeah, so you get a real good idea, like wind directions.
Yeah,
which is to do with hunting. You get to know, like if you're on hills and creeks, it's so easy. You're laughing. When it's flat, there's nothing. You can't just turn like, okay, I remember this tree. As soon as you walk past that tree and look back at it, it's a different bloody tree.
So what stopped you from getting a G-Shock, like, you know, one of those hard watches that just at least has a GPS of north-south and where you're going?
No, I want to learn the land.
And I suppose you have.
Well, when I'm up with the guys in Darwin, they were telling me the story. If you want to meet some people up there, crazy. They were, back in the day, no GPS, nothing. And they said, righto, got to take the horses out. They're going to go catch buffalo or brumbies or crocodiles, whatever, 2 k's that way. And that's what I was saying. 2 days drive that way. Like 2 days. Man, I don't know. I'd love to do it. Go out and challenge and see if I can walk the same direction for 2 days. Yeah, I mean, if you have no sun and that sort of thing, geez, it'd be hard.
It is hard, especially when there's nothing around. Like there's no like landmark mountains or in the distance, you know.
And you've got to keep an eye on that sun, be really aware of the arc that it's got. And okay, it's there, it's there, it's there, it's there. It's okay, it's behind me. Yeah, because you mean 2 days, you could be out like 5 degrees.
That's right, and you end up like 100 kilometres, or 200 k's away. Oh, that's crazy.
Then you get there, and where's Joe? Can't find Joe. How the hell now? Where do I go back? 2 days that way.
Just send the drone up, Pete.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of not drones but bows, like I know I read somewhere that people don't know how popular you are, you know. Yeah. But I read somewhere that you love the traditional bow.
Love it.
And a traditional spear. Now, I just wanted to know as well, like, what varieties of bows are there here?
Yep.
And what are the costs? And, you know, things like that. Have you bought bows or do you make your spears or what?
Yeah, so I make my spears, and I buy parts from the States. Bows, we've got long bows, recurve bows, compound bows. You get these Mongolian bows. My favourite bow is a bow I made out of a spotted gum floorboard, and I've hunted with it, and it's kept me fed. It is wicked.
Wow. And
it's only like 30 pound. And I've taken goats, pigs, rabbits, cat, a fox. I didn't eat them once. But yeah, just test it out. And by all means, I could live with a floorboard bow. Wow. Made the string as well.
That was gonna be one of my questions, because have you made the bow, from scratch and taken that? That's great.
And that's not with machines. That's all like steel files and stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah, the hard yards. Took me 2 days to shape the bow.
Buying one, like a big professional one, what are the costs of those sort of things?
Yep. So you're looking around $1,200 for a bare bow. Set up, I reckon average bow must be about $3,500 something for a fully set up bow. If you're buying the top end,
right?
You can come right down, and you could probably you get a good bow like the starter PSEs, like your PSE drive. You should get that for $600-700. Yep,
it's not bad. It's good to know
really
the rate.
good.
It's good to know what prices. You don't know whether they're going to cost 15 grand or 7 to say 3.5, which is pretty good.
Well, if you buy one of those standard lower level ones and set that up, find someone to help you set it up properly. I've taken people out with them and they're shooting 100 meters with me. I got someone out with me tomorrow and he does it. He shoots 100 meters and he'll shoot that for you at 100. And he was shooting that at 100 with me when he's never shot a bow.
That's with no scope or anything?
No, just sights. Like
just a sight?
Just pins. No
wow,
scope.
That's crazy.
And he would have been shooting that within, I don't know, the first. I do it in 2 to 4 hours. So if you've not shot a bow, 2 to 4 hours, whenever the max we can get the pins on your bow, or have you shooting that in 2 to 4 hours with 3 shots, not 1, 1, 2, 3 consecutive, because it's all about consistency.
It's a bit different when you're hunting for food and you're hungry. Yeah. Now, I remember we ran out of food up there. Someone forgot to turn the fridge on in the four-wheel drive. We ran out of food. So, it became and thank God these guys were with us, these Indigenous guys that lived there. And they were just like, bang, like fish, turtle, snake. They even caught this huge bush turkey and they buried it under the ground with the hot rocks and, it was great,
Good food, eh?
But when you're hungry, that's when you realise, how important this skill is, because if they weren't there, we'd be screwed.
Did you notice when you got hungry, like how you changed?
Oh, yeah.
Like it's not a hungry, you're in town hungry.
No.
It's like a genetic hungry caveman. Yeah. So I'm living in that when I'm bush.
It's ravenous. You get ravenous.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like I speak to a couple of people say about hunting. I said, well, I hunt the best when I'm hungry. They're like, what's that mean? I said, well, you watch what happens when I'm hungry. And I've taken them out. They go, holy, this is different. So no food. I rarely take food with me. I can find it. Seriously, you ask the guys. I just done like 7 days in the snow. I didn't take food. Yeah.
Where was that?
Up in Omeo. Yeah.
Cool. I don't know if you were around when the gun laws changed here in 1996.
Yep.
I think John Howard was in office. Did your old man, or did you find out if that had a big blowback in the sort of feral and vermin explosion that would have happened because guys weren't hunting them anymore, the guns, or they traded them in, or?
All it really stopped was like a lot of people just kept guns on the farms, cops didn't do it a lot, but it's people giving them back in. But all it was semi-autos, bigger magazines.
Oh, okay.
That sort of thing. So it wasn't really the pest control. Yeah, semi-auto is a lot more effective. And the bigger magazines are certainly helpful. But no, I wouldn't say I did, because whenever there was because that's when the big pest things were going on, like your emu cull. You remember the emu cull that was back there somewhere? Then you had the rabbit issues.
The rabbit, I remember that.
What else did they do? What else was massive? The goats was they used to do a fair bit on the goats, but now they spend people trying to get in to do the hunting. The government now is spending huge amounts of money on feral animal control. Huge. I've heard of single people getting paid $7,000 to $10,000 a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Walking the streets out there each night, knocking over feral animals. And that's just shooting foxes, rabbits, goats, pigs around the city here.
In the city?
I'm talking here, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I did see a fox. I saw a fox not long ago.
Yep.
And that, I've got a tickle in my throat. But yeah, and I was shocked to see a fox. I see kangaroos, but I saw a fox around, and, in big cities like London, they're everywhere,
There's heaps here.
Is there?
Stuff, yeah. I reckon I could go out front there and call one for you.
No.
I'm serious. There's heaps here. Yeah, dude. There's heaps. I used to catch them as
crazy.
You know Harrison Island?
So you're saying in Perth City,
yes.
There's heaps of foxes?
Yes. They get shot here. The shooters are shooting in the city.
Man, you wouldn't hear about it.
They shoot with thermals. So it's all thermal, rifle and thermal.
Tell me.
Okay, so you can get thermal scopes, thermal imaging, picks up heat.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So they've got them on their rifles.
Sure.
And I believe they get a government issued, correct me if I'm wrong, they get a government issued can or suppressor, and they'll use like a lower caliber. And they'll
That's
shoot.
nuts. Just to hear that.
So aside from that, they trap and they bait.
Oh, okay.
Heaps around the city, yeah. Yep.
Man. And why is it that crossbows are illegal in WA
I don't know.
and not other states?
I believe so it's not so much they're illegal, they're controlled. That makes sense? So I've been done by the coppers, or they try to have a go to do me for having a controlled weapon as a bow and arrow. So a bow and arrow is not a controlled weapon. The term controlled is when you've got a license for it. So a crossbow, you're required to have a license.
Oh, okay.
Cool. So you have a license for it. It's a controlled weapon. So you can have it.
Okay.
You can have a license.
Oh, that makes
I believe
a bit more sense.
I believe that still stands in Western Australia.
Right. Because I know this company released this short bow. It's like a compact crossbow. And it was so good. And I was dying to order it in America. It was in America. And I was even thinking about it, getting it sent to a friend's house in Sydney. And then when I'm in Sydney, I'll just pick it up. But, everyone was like, Wayne, don't get a crossbow.
What is it? Is it an actual crossbow?
Yeah, it's an actual crossbow, But then I realised I was looking up the laws and they were saying it's illegal in WA. So obviously if you have it controlled.
I'm sure you can have it under a license.
Okay. Like a gun, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like a gun license. I'm sure it is.
Is it hard to keep your gun license here?
No.
Do you got to jump through a lot of hoops?
No, it's a piece of piss.
Really?
Yeah. No, it's sweet as. It's easy.
And why not a gun, Pete? I know it's obvious, but why not a gun for you?
I use me guns, but I only do pro work with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is?
Well, if I get a professional job, say someone wants me to go do a cull, I'll go do a cull and I'll use a rifle for that. I might have to shoot. I've got one coming up where I've got to shoot 280 odd deer and they want them culled. So that'll be a cull, that'll be a rifle, that'll be a splied rifle, splied bullets. And I'll do that, yeah. So that's, from doing the hunting with a bow, you can see how much easier it would be with a rifle.
Sure.
Makes it so much easier. But not only that, you understand the animals from hunting them. I understand their mannerisms. So the pro shooters go through before me. So once they're done, then they'll say, okay, Pete, you're in this date. So there's people that are shooting at the moment, but I know what's going to happen. I'll still be shooting at about 180 that they can't get because they don't study. All they do is point and shoot.
Sure.
So I'll sit back and I'll watch them and see what the mannerisms are, what they're doing. And there's a process of when you go to, say, clear, I don't know if you want to hear that, but if you want to clear a group, there's a process of doing it. I suppose like the army would, the special forces. Let's just say we clear a bunch of pigs, whether it be chopper or ground. If we say we're on the ground and we've got a bunch of pigs and you want to knock the pigs, you want to have a look, understand where they're going to go if you can. Let's say, keep it simple. Say they're on a floodplain. You know they're going to come off the edge. So what you'll do is you'll stand there and you'll be looking at them, get between them and the edge, and you'll make sure you hit the furthest one first. And if they're scrambling, you'll hit the furthest one you can again. So what happens with a gunshot, people don't realise, don't know about the bang here. If there's a group of animals out there, the bang they're going to really hear, is a bang that hits their mate. So if you ever want to try it, you want to stand near a target that's being shot and stand, say, 200 metres past that target being shot, and say they shoot that target, you're 200 metres further down behind it, however you want to do it, so you don't get shot. A lot of the noise stops at that target. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I get you.
And then the second shot, get them to miss that target, shoot right past. And you watch what happens. That sound just travels. So what happens when that pig gets hit at the back, that whack comes back to them, and that pig's hit the ground, and they're like, oof, stuff that.
Let's head from that. So
let's head that way.
Yeah, sure.
So then depends on what they're doing. If they're scrambling, bang, you'll whack the back one again. They're the ones you want to get. And then you want to get them in a line. That's what they'll do. They'll run to a line. You have to shoot from the back. As soon as you go from the front, they realise something's going on.
They take off.
While you're shooting at the back, they hear a noise, but the one that's leading them at the front don't know what's going on.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So he'll keep leading them to safety, but doesn't know by the time he gets there, he'll be the last one standing. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So there's a psychology behind that.
An understanding of how the herd works, I suppose.
Yeah, so that's how pigs work. And if you do it with a chopper, say you got a bunch of pigs with a chopper, you won't just drive over them and shoot them. You'll just come up, you'll be up higher, you'll come around and they'll get running on a line. Once you get them running a line, then you'll come down and you'll sit up beside them. They'll be right there, and the chopper will just cruise along with them about that angle, and you'll go from the back to the front. It's quite quick. It's like as you're cruising along now.
So do you get requested for this quite often?
Yeah, you get quite a lot of it, yeah.
Because this is your living now, right?
Yeah, yep.
Training, taking people out,
Yep.
doing culling.
Well, it's more, for me, it's the experience of taking people out.
Yeah.
I love running into people that are new to it.
Yeah, I bet.
The appreciation, and I tell you, it's funny, I've been doing it for so long, but I learn so much from new people. Sounds weird.
Is that why in the training you get them to teach you what they've learned at the end?
No, that's a show one, do one, teach one. So that's the thing. That's how I like to teach people. So I want to show you how I do it, or how to do it. Then you're going to go through a process of asking the questions, learn how to do it. Like and you'll keep practicing, make mistakes, figure it out. Then I'll get to the point. Okay, now I want you to teach me, because if you can teach me,
you know they understand.
then you understand.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? And every time I've done it, the person teaches me something new, and they've, might be 3 days have ever done it.
You know what? Because they're seeing it with new eyes.
Yeah.
New instinct, new eyes. So they're going to bring up something that most of the time you take for granted because you've been out there for so long.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
to them, all their awareness is new,
Yeah.
So that must be a buzz.
It is a
Seeing
buzz.
them get that buzz and that understanding and going, oh, okay.
And it's not so much, what people don't realise is it's not about killing.
Mm.
It's not about killing. It's just that's what's going to happen for you to get your result. It's certainly not about killing. The result is the experience. It's all about the experience. And I tell you, I haven't had one person that's left it going, well, that was boring, or that sucked. Because if I can't give you the experience, I'm not going to take it. I ask a lot of questions to get people out, because I want to make sure that I can supply, what it is they want, I can supply that experience, if that makes sense.
Sure.
It's either that experience or more of that experience they've made clear that they want.
Do you get professionals from overseas coming and saying, Pete, can you take us out?
Yeah, I've had a couple ask me to go over to the States.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, to come on their blocks and see if I can do what I do there.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, I got invited to Hawaii the other day, so I've got to get back to them. Another one's in Idaho.
Right.
So there's two just lately, yeah.
What about, I don't know, I was going to ask you about, you said you're a conservationist when it comes to
Definitely.
animals.
100%.
So explain that.
So conservationist for me is, I do me culls and whatnot, where reports have been done and they've gone over and they can prove the damage is done. So I won't go into the horses and stuff like that, but the side of it that I look at is I'm hunting to eat. So I'm not going out to blow everything away and make them. I just don't have time for it. Let's face it, what's an arrow cost, I can't afford to just go and shoot arrows in the air. So I hunt to eat. So that's my conservation side. I'm eating feral animals. I live on feral animals. So camel, donkey, horse, pig, goat.
They taste the best, right?
Six species of deer we've got. That's hog deer, sambar deer, rooster deer, chital deer, fallow deer, red deer. I think that's it. So there's 6 species of deer we got. We got camel, donkey. Donkey's good. Camel's great. What else we got? We got rabbits, fantastic. We got hares, goats. We got pigs. Myself personally, I don't eat cats and foxes, but there's 2 other feral animals. We got wild dogs. So it's quite a number. We got buffalo.
And they have to be, when I read that, I was like, what?
What's that?
And buffalo. When I read that on your site, I was like, buffalo.
Yeah.
We have buffalo here.
Bloody earth, we got buffalo. We got massive buffalo.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I should show a picture of that.
And you were saying, like, let's face it, how much an arrow costs. How much is an arrow?
Depends on how you do it. I'm pretty switched on with my arrows. So let's say an expensive arrow for me would be, let's go with the parts. So an arrow probably costs people about, let's keep it cheap. That's $110 a dozen. So divide 110 by 12. What's that? $9.80
Sure.
roughly.
Yeah.
At a
about
guess.
$9.
Yeah, about $9. So about $9 an arrow. Cool. Then you've got to fletch it. Let's just say it costs them $10 fletched.
Fletched?
Fletched, that's veins. Like the feathers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
So a feather is a feather, like a duck feather, bird feather, and a vein does the same thing, but it's made out of plastic.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. So that's an arrow. Let's say it's got a nock, which is a point that clips on the string.
Yep.
And the other end's got like a little target tip.
Sure.
Let's say that whole arrow is probably going to cost you around $10 to $12.
It's $10-12.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can't even hunt yet. And then you got to chuck a broadhead on it. So a broadhead, which is a sharpened blade. So that's going to cost you around, just say, depends on who you use. I use Tuskers a fair bit. They're actually really quite cheap. I think they're $4 or $5 each or something like that. But most of the heads now are costing about $14 to $20.
What?
Yeah, I know. The guys that really promote them are running $14, $20 heads.
Well, you got to start manufacturing.
You're going to have to, eh?
Yeah. That's going to be another huge business.
Oh, bro, it's mad. Yeah, so huge money. And some go up to around $20, $30. Because I hunt every day and I'm hunting for food, I know me bow well enough. Like if you tune your bow, that's where you get your results. So I tune my bow. I'm shooting it constantly. I know what I can and can't do. And I can run these $4 heads. I'm getting a lot better results than the guys running these really expensive ones.
I suppose it's like anything. If it's like the hunter and then they have their tools.
Yeah.
And then you got a guy that can't hunt that well that has the expensive tools. You'll always bet on the hunter, right?
Oh, for sure. Because you got the structure.
You've got that instinct as well.
Yeah. But it is a good idea for the guys that don't hunt so much to get the expensive stuff. And I suppose the reason they do it is less chance for mistakes or inaccurate products or something going wrong with that. So they try and play it safe by buying the top end stuff.
Yeah, sure.
But you get the same thing.
I actually, a few years back, I actually did a course. I went up in the hills and they taught me how to snare. And what we did is we learned how to snare from all sorts of things, even with a shoelace, And then when we got the rabbits, they showed us how to bone the rabbits and cook the rabbits. And then at the end of the day, we had a rabbit stew. And it was like, I loved that experience. And after that, I went out and bought the backpacks and, I bought everything, just maps and stuff, because it's just something I've always been interested in, but I don't know anybody that does it.
It's highly illegal.
What, snaring?
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Delete that bit. No.
And I paid for
How
it.
long ago?
Oh, about 4 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's illegal, eh?
Really?
Yeah.
Snaring?
Check it out, yeah.
Bastard.
Check it out because they see it as be worth just checking that. Just check if you can or you can't. From my understanding, 100% definitely cannot.
Wow, why is that?
Cruelty or something like that, they reckon.
Oh, because the animal stays alive and...
Well, to me, like I've fought professionally, fighting, cage fighting. So when you choke someone out, it's pretty good. You know what I mean? It's, there's not a lot of stress involved.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the animal's going to kick around and stuff, but end of the day, it cuts off the circulation.
Yeah.
So you would be more of falling asleep, understanding.
True.
Because it is generally around the neck.
The thing I couldn't get over is we had to then kill the rabbit.
Okay, so you still had them alive?
Yeah. We had to kill the rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
And we had to do it with a stick,
Oh,
and
really?
the guy said, look, just put the rabbit down, calm the rabbit down, and then you just lay this stick. It was instant at the back of the head. And then you just push on the stick with your foot and then tug the tail. And you'd hear a little, and then it would be out quickly.
Yep.
I had no idea it was illegal. But hearing you speaking about it, I'm like, I can understand that now.
Because it's very efficient. It's really efficient if you know what to look for.
Yeah.
So I think it's because people are getting people's cats
I bet.
or people finding a cat with one. But a cat's great with a snare. Because I used to catch them as kids, of course, all sorts with them. But a cat's great. A cat will get so tight, then it will relax, and it will notice the snare will relax. So the cat will just lay down and wait.
Right.
Wait for you to come back.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's crazy. You said you had some near-death experiences.
Heaps.
That when I was going through and I read that, I was like, I've got to ask you about that. What's some that come to mind?
Oh.
Some near-death experiences that you've had besides getting lost in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, the desert was a bad one. We'll go. I had a buffalo bail me up a tree. That was pretty cool. But don't know. He changed his mind. But I got put a video up on that, and I got my knees literally just off his nose, and he's sniffing me. So good thing about a buffalo will run you down, but he won't lift his head up. So if he can't hit you down here,
oh, okay, is that right?
Which I learnt that, but I tell you what, it wasn't easy to learn, bro.
You learned that on the job.
Oh, mate, I'm surprised. I was shitting myself. That was hectic. So, yeah, hanging out of that tree. That was one. Another one, I had a scrub bull. Was with another fella out, and he was hunting. He'd done some hunting up north and put a couple of bad shots in it. And I thought, I'm not going to leave this thing. I'm going to go in and sort it out. So he walked in the sick stuff. I went in there and thought he was a pig, and I thought, have my bow ready. And I'm whispering to him, like, just miming, like 20-meter pin, like make sure your bow's set up and clicked on ready just in case we see this bull, because you're just going to shoot it and we'll get out. I'm looking, I see the same thing, it's a pig. I'm looking at him and I'm like, 20-meter pin. 20-meter pin. Right, and I'm like, looking at this thing, and he walks 2 steps. So I straight look back at him like, no, don't move. Don't move. But I'm not talking. I'm like, Dad, don't move. And he's like looking at me like, what? I'm like, oh, jeez. It's a pig. I'll shoot this pig. So as I stepped forward, I thought, well, that's weird, that pig. So I've looked at him thinking, he can shoot this pig. He loves shooting pigs. So I'm like, 20 minutes. And he goes, like loud footsteps. I've gone, oh shit. So I'm pointing my bow because I'm ready anyway. Next thing, this thing that looked like a pig that was going, goes, and I'm over here. And it turns its head out that one. I thought, shit, it's a bull. Oh, so he's turned there. I'm thinking, he's going to turn there. He's going to get up. I'm going to shoot him side on. We're going to get out of here. So, okay. As soon as he's turned like that, I've gone, oh. Then his head's turned and he's getting up. So I've just drew straight away. By the time I drew, he'd got up, turned around. His head was facing that way. And he just looked at me like that. I'm holding on him, just not moving. Like, old mate's doing something. I can't talk, bro. Like, I'm not doing nothing but watching this bull. And I'm watching this thing, and he's about 10, 12 meters. Yeah, no chance. This thing's looking at us. I've got the pin on it. I should have got it in the head, but I just, for some reason, thought not to. But anyway, I'm watching him, and I watch him looking, and he's just looking. Then I see his eyes go like that, and they put the head forward a bit. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So I'm like, okay.
Shit's about to get real.
Shit's about to get real. So I'm just going, oh, no, don't do it. Next thing I hear this crunch. This thing's just going like, I found you, now you're fucked. And it just started running.
And you knew.
Oh, fucking oath. Mate, it probably got about 2 meters, and I've just gone, poof, and I shot like straight there to get him through the heart. Shot, that arrow's just disappeared. Old mate's gone.
Your mate's taken off.
Which is good. He's done well. But the bull was watching me. So I've gone to run, and there was this like little line of trees, and there was a bit I come through, and then there was a bit of a shortcut sort of thing. But I thought, he won't go through that. So I've come around thinking, shit, yeah, he'll come around. I'll come back in this line here. Stuff, no, he came through that shortcut, caught me, picked me up. So he's got like, I think this old mate shot it like 4 times, and I put one into it. And this thing's just thrown me in the air and just started pole driving me on the ground. But as he hit me, there was these tall, skinny trees. And now we were probably about 7 k's from the car, walking, like, and we followed a creek. That's to find our way back. And then from there to town, we're probably about 140, the closest town. Yeah. Gives you an idea how far, like we are.
In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. So this thing's picked us up and thrown us, and I managed to somehow grab onto these all like skinny saplings. And as he was getting me, I'm on the ground. This thing's like smashing me, and I've managed to grab on the saplings. I'm pulling myself like when you're training, you do those curls, side curls. So I'm side curling up. This thing's grinding on us, and then he stood up and drilled me again. But the saplings squished me, and then because of his horns hit the saplings, he kept running up the saplings. So as he ran up the saplings, he'd miss me. You know, it's just scratched right over.
Jeez.
So I'm under the saplings now, trying to get out of these saplings while the bull's, slipped on the saplings and smashing around. So I'd crawl out and go again, and bang, it hit me in the arse and throw me up. So he got me a couple of times, and then I got a video online where it's just me going with this bull right where you are, going, are you going to shoot him? And then he's funk, and then I was like, and I'm running again because bang, he just ran straight into us. So I fell on over, got up, got back to him. Like a couple of seconds later, I put the camera back up, and he's like, dum. So yeah, that's one of them. But dude, yeah, I've had heaps, man. I mean, sharks, had some bad ones with sharks, but not bad.
Not bad for you.
Nah.
Well, for anyone else. Oh my God.
But I've swam with all your sharks, your tigers, your whites.
Because the tigers are the most vicious, right?
Nah.
As in, they're the most aggressive.
Nah, tigers like little puppy dogs, but you just don't take your eye off them. So I've swum with them a fair bit. They're cool, man. They're super chilled, but you just don't trust them, if that makes sense. They're not going to go along like this here and then go, I'm going to eat you. They go like, and eat you. If that makes sense. Yeah.
There's no,
you don't see none of
there's
this.
no warm up.
There's no warm up. Like if he wants a taste test or whatever, he'll just come over and do it. You know what I mean? I've had him try and bite us. Like, oh, shit, far out. Didn't change nothing. Couldn't see it on its face.
So this is in the water. Like, are you diving or you're on the
free
boat?
dive.
Oh, free diving.
Yeah, hell yeah, free diving. I love it. Yeah, I free dive down to about 43.
Wow.
Yeah, longest held breath holds.
It's
Probably about 4.5 meters.
Different world down there, man.
Amazing. Do it, bro. It's so good. Psychological as well. Like you got to really be at peace, because if you can't chill, then you'll use your oxygen up too quick. Panicking.
Well, I was going to ask, because you've been tested that many times, like with the story with the bull. There must be something, when fear takes over, adrenaline takes over, can get you to do things that you shouldn't. But you pretty much, probably more tuned in now to keep your heart rate. So I know it's still going, but you obviously still got your wits about you, especially when that bull,
Yeah, well, talking about hearts, that's a really good one. Sharks. Yeah, if you want to jump in the water with sharks and you got someone that's scared of sharks, you're going to stir them up. They will get fired up. But if you're chilled with them, and you'll know if someone's chilled with them because they're chilled. So, man, free dive, we see heaps of it.
Really?
Yeah, man, I used to have sharks trying to bite me. I'd go put my foot in the water. They'd be trying to get us. Like, I'm not scared of these bloody things.
Well, you still go in?
Yeah, I'd still get in there. The things, they're trying to snap you. I put my foot in there. I try to snap your foot, so I get it back out. And can I get in? Is he there? No. Okay, jump back in. Then stab it as it's trying to bite me to poke it away. And then I swim around for a bit. Next thing, I'd have a go. I'm like, all right, this shark's gone. Shoot that shark. We're going to put him in the esky. Most of them are no good to eat, but the liver's got a lot of oil, so we keep that. Anyway, but yeah, you just got to be comfortable. If you're comfortable with them, they're fine. Still, you keep an eye on them, but if you're panicking, man, like you see that Ramsey lady that swims with the tigers and the whites? Yeah, look, she's chilled. You wouldn't go in and do half that stuff if your heart rate went up. It makes a huge difference.
It's like
and you can hear your heart too. You'll hear it when a shark comes in. You're scared. You hear, yeah, and you, what the fuck is that? Because it's just in your ears. Yeah, but yeah, talking about an experience with freediving, I was diving out off Perth, out here, and I was diving down to 21 meters, and I had a coffee, so I got ADD. Coffee chills me out half the time. Like, that one is good. And I'll go dive. So I was diving 21. I said to me mate Paul, I said, just keep an eye on us. Like, I'm pretty chilled, like, just keep an eye on us. Yeah, no worries. So at 21.5 meters, dive down there, seeing some crayfish, some jewfish, King George, and I was just so chilled. I was like, yeah, I'm not really going to shoot them. So I was laid there on the bottom, then I crawled around. So we're talking 21.5. I'm crawling around, and I thought, I'll just cruise back up. So I sort of felt like I was falling asleep. I'm that chilled. So I'm starting to swim back up. Must have got to about 10 meters. And I see my mate spear on the bottom. So I thought, I'll go and get it. So go back at 10 meters, swam back down, went over and got it, picked it up, and I thought, geez, it's a long way up. And then I've gone to push off the bottom. So I've pushed off and just started kicking reef. Just not going nowhere, going, bloody hell. I freaking stuck to the bottom. So fell right down, relaxed a bit, and then pushed off and started kicking. Finally got off the bottom, smashed me flippers, carbon flippers.
What was keeping you down there? You were stuck?
Panic reef.
Is that right?
Oh, just panic. Yeah, because
as soon as you looked up, you realised.
Yeah, fuck, I'm in trouble.
Jesus.
So yeah, I'm looking up and I'm thinking, oh shit. And I'm just in this big fish tank, just going like this here, going.
Dude, no wonder why you're so popular online.
Yeah.
Just hearing you now, I'm just like, oh shit.
Yeah, hectic, bro. But I finally see my mate. I'm going like this here. I just remember going like this. Never forget it. And I'm like, where is he? I'm like, oh, there he is. God. So I'm swimming towards him now. He's over there. And I'm swimming to him going, fucking look at me, you bastard. Look at me. I've still got his spear. Like, look at me. And I'm swimming to him. Look at me, and he's not looking at me. So I must be about 10 meters off him.
Yeah.
And he sort of looks across, and I'm like, like trying not to slow myself down. Come down here, you know. I'm still kicking, come down. Like, come down, I know I'm fucked. I'm done. I know I'm not going to make it. So like, come down. And as far as I know, I got to him with the guns. That's what I thought. Nah, bro. None of that. I'd gone up. He just looked back, like seen us. And then, oh, yeah, he's coming up. Kept swimming. Yeah, didn't check us. But he'd swim along and he turned around and looked back. As he looked back, I'm out. And this is how freedivers die. Shallow water blackout, you die or pass out for the top, then you sink. Then when you start brain lets you finally breathe again, you'll suck water and drown. So I was just sinking. And old mates looked back and they're home sinking, he reckons. He's like,
Jesus.
Yeah. So he had to come back. So I think I went down to another 10. No, I'm joking. Not by choice, eh? So yeah, he come down and grabbed us. So yeah, how it feels is like you're unconscious, so you don't know a bloody thing. I'm just chilling. Don't even know what's going on. As far as I know, I don't know, maybe a deep sleep or something. So I don't know anything. Anyway, come down and grab my arm. As soon as he grabbed my arm, I hooked my arm to swim me back to the top. I felt like my arm was in a car door. Right? I was like, oof. I felt that. And so I was like, go to talk. And then when you try and talk, because your brain won't you're out of oxygen, your brain won't let stuff happen. So you're trying to tell your brain, so what your brain makes you do, or what happens to you, is you start having a fit. So as soon as I grab my arm and squeeze it, I've tried to do something, bang, I'm having a fit. So next thing you know, he gets to the top, and he's got us on me back, and he's like, breathe. So I'm trying to say to him, I'm trying to fucking breathe. Fit. So you can't talk, you just go into a fit. So I'm fitting away, and that's finally like, oh.
It's like your brain's going to survival mode.
It's 100%.
It literally knows what your body needs.
Yep.
It won't let you talk because you need oxygen.
Yep. So the brain gets all the oxygen. So you feel and you hear everything. There's something crazy for you. When you're out like that, you hear everything. Yeah, you're like a dead person that can hear. I know it's weird. I could hear everything they're saying, but I could not react at all because I'd have a fit. I could hear everything.
Man.
Old mate shouting, breathe, breathe. Shouting to his mate, it's hectic. He's like, breathe. I'm like, couldn't do a thing. So then I was like, don't respond, do nothing. So then your brain teaches you, do not fucking move. Don't even think you're going to move because I'll make you fit. Yeah, I'll make you have like a fit. Anyway, then finally, like, I'm fit and he's trying to get me to breathe or whatever. Like, and I think he pulled me goals off or something, and I was just like, fuck this. I'm getting out of this shit. And I was just fit. And then, I said, fuck, did you see that? So, man, every time I tried to move, I was fitting. I heard yous. I just couldn't talk to yous. Now, my legs and arms and all that shit.
That was the first time you had this experience?
First, and I hope it's a fucking last, bro. But when I come out of it, man, my arms and legs and shit didn't work.
Just jelly.
So I'm talking like this here, trying to say I'm going to do all this shit. Bro, it's only this that's doing anything. Yeah, this other stuff's not working. And then, boom, it starts to come back. They help me in the boat. And then, put my toes back in the water. That was hectic. But, we went somewhere else and the boys, made sure I got back in. And, I just chilled out around the boat.
I suppose if you didn't get back in, would you ever go back in? You know, that sort of saying, like, if you fall off a motorcycle, get back on, keep going.
No, I'll always do it. No, I don't let things scare me too much.
No, but that was an experience.
Yeah, that's a pretty crazy experience,
I mean, the not near-death, I've had a few, but one with animals was, I remember we had to get from point A to point B in South Africa, and it was by foot, and it was at night time, and there was a hippo on the loose.
Yeah.
And the hippos kill more humans over there than anything.
Yeah.
We could hear it. And three of us left this chalet and we were running because these things can move,
Yeah, bugger that.
And, it must have lasted about a minute of solid running, but it seemed like an hour. And just the things that go through your mind, like when you are not at the top of the food chain anymore, it's this weird psychological thing that happens in you. Like you're nothing there and you could be prey. And there were things like a leopard was spotted at 5 p.m. Around this area, around where we were staying. We were staying in this like science research shack in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So didn't have many, the fences were like waist high. It was nothing. And so every day we'd get out of the 4-wheel drive and we'd just be looking up in the trees if we're around 5 p.m.
Will a leopard get you?
Yeah. They could attack. Not that they would, because we were grown. Like, they would always attack kids.
Oh, wow.
They'd take the kids. Kids would disappear. Really?
Bloody hell.
Oh, man. In Kruger Park, it's about the size of Israel, like in Wales, like from here to Mug River, right?
Yep.
But the one border that's not bordered off is Mozambique, because it's Kruger Park. And when Mozambique had a war, some crazy families decided to try their luck and go through Kruger Park. And the rangers that were talking to us were saying they were finding shoes with feet still in them, you know. Families gone, you know.
Yeah.
And like idiots, illegally, we put out some sausages that we'd be eating, and we'd set up the cameras inside just at night time. And our whole place got surrounded by hyenas, and they wouldn't leave.
Oh.
And hyenas are massive. They're not small dogs.
Yeah.
Like, they were like waist high. They're like lions without the build.
Yeah.
And we were surrounded by hyenas, and the guy that was from there was asleep, so he didn't know. And we were just like, we're fucked, because we didn't have a satellite phone. We had nothing. And in the morning, you know, we get up and the hyenas had gone. And then we were telling him, and he was like, you dickheads. Like, he goes, don't you realise what happens if the lions came? Like, did you ever think about that? And we were like, we didn't think about the lions. Because we could hear the hyenas. That's why we thought we'll get them around and take photos, not realising they wouldn't leave us.
Yeah.
And we're no communication. And and our 4-wheel drive's like 30, 40 metres away from the place. And, it was a nightmare. But that was one time, you know. I was just thinking, how are we going to get out of this place, you know?
Yeah, how do we wicked?
But back to you. Celebrities. Celebrities come out with you? Have you had celebrities come out with you?
No, no one real big. I've had a couple people ask, like, offer to come out, but no one real big. I'd love to get them out. It'd be good fun.
Well, I think more
I reckon
publicity.
They'd bloody enjoy it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I know that.
Have you had any cooks come out, like chefs?
I've had one.
Have you?
Yeah. Sorry, 2 now. Yep. 3, 4. Jeez, a fair few.
Yeah.
It's awesome to take them, because a lot of them haven't done wild game, but they've got the interest.
Sure.
They've taken them out, and then we've got wild game with them, and now they cook it flat out.
Yeah.
Flat out. Yep, absolutely.
That must be nice to see, yeah?
Dude, it's freaking awesome to see and enjoying it, because rabbit's fantastic. Rabbit's absolutely beautiful. Goats. And
I heard you talking about goats on your video. You said, they're nice.
Very,
nice
very
to
nice.
eat.
We'll fill the freezers tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm out for 5 hours, and that'll just be filling chillers. So about 600 litre eskies will be filling.
Wow.
So that's capretta. So your young goats. So from about that size down. So what, about 1.5 foot and down?
Nice.
Nice young billies there they go. Yep, billy goats.
Mate, you're never going to starve.
No.
You're never going to starve.
No, well, the bush tucker, man, if you get a chance, the bush tucker is just incredible.
I've had some.
Yeah,
beautiful. You know,
how good is it?
They would cook the fish in the bark, put it in the charcoals and
Really?
the fire. Yeah,
that's a good experience.
And then the bush turkey was underground, and we had snake. And again, when you're hungry, you know, people were saying, "Oh, did you eat snake?" And mate, we were hungry.
Yeah, hungry, yeah.
You know, when you're hungry, you eat. You know, you eat whatever it is, and you enjoy it.
That's like a king talking. The way you said it. When you're hungry, you eat.
There is no, don't think about it. You know, it shows how spoiled people are in the city. You know, they're like, you know, they're against hunting and they're against this, but you know, you don't mind guys going out and doing it for you and then getting it butchered and putting it in the supermarket and you go buy it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different thing, you know.
Yeah, I look at that and I look at, say, people say, it's not ethical to, say, hunt a goat or whatever with a bow. Okay, cool. Here's an example. So is it ethical for me to get my food, let's say my food roams around the bush wild, I sneak up and I get it with a bow, hit it with a bow and it, 10 seconds or whatever it is, it never sees me, doesn't know what's going on, runs out of blood because that's what they do, which, as we know, when people run out of blood, they pass out.
Sure. So
let's say it passes out, has no idea what's going on. Then it doesn't know it's dead, it's gone. So I can dress it out, you know, clean up. Now, is that more unethical, or if we put them down a race into a yard, into an abattoir and then slaughter, with their mates in front of them walking in a line. Now, hey, it is what it is. You do what you want to do. I have nothing against what everyone does. It's their choice. I'm responsible for what I'm doing 100%.
That's right.
For me, I'd prefer to do this.
Mm.
So for me, that's what I do. But whatever you do is good for you.
I think people forget
You know what
it's besides storytelling, it's the oldest tradition in the world. Hunting.
For sure.
It's the oldest tradition in the world.
Yep.
Going back to, Neanderthals, and
Well,
so,
if you can see like that Andrew Eccles is doing stuff up in Darwin. That guy's awesome, man. You watch out some of the things he does.
Yeah.
But you see some of the things he's done in the past. But anyway, that just got me thinking. But when you go hunting hungry, like the hungry you were saying, how you said it, when you go hunting hungry like that, you're a different person. Or you're the same person, but you've got this biological stuff that happens where you just how you operate in country and do what you do and see things and everything changes. It's completely different. And the longer you do it, the more you start seeing some crazier and crazier stuff. And you can eat worse and worse stuff too. But yeah.
And it all tastes delicious.
And it all tastes delicious. Like I come to the city, like you were saying about the coffee, I'm like, bro.
It's the first thing you said, coffee,
Does it taste like coffee? I love it.
So with Down Under, with iHunt Down Under, what are your goals with that?
With that, so what we're going to do is we're slowly changing and building up. But what it was, I want to inspire people. Whether it's negative, positive, however they like me or don't like me, I don't mind.
You're hard not to like, mate.
Yeah.
You're hard not to like.
So, yeah, I want to inspire people, you know what I mean? And certainly have. I've noticed that a lot of people, the spike in bows has just been absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Oh, bro, it's crazy. Pretty much everyone I know has got a freaking bow. And if they haven't, they're asking me to buy one. Where do I go buy it? Go and get it. So, yeah, and a lot of the people, like the negative side of people, all in bows as well, don't really shoot them much, but they've all bought bows. So it has been a huge influence. It's spun me out. How far it's actually gone.
Do you know how loved archery? I mean, archery is something I've always wanted to do since a kid.
Okay.
And then hearing about people hunting or bow hunting, and I've always thought, like your old man, if everything does go to shit, I want to be at least able to go out and feed myself.
Yeah, well, snaring's really good too.
Now, I know how to do that.
Yeah.
But that was always something for me. Even my wife, you might meet her soon. She'll be coming back, but she also wants to go archery and learn how to use a bow.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that piques the interest of a lot of people.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
I don't know. I just think it's part of our DNA.
It is, brother. If I show you, and I don't know anyone that's doing it, and I put it out there, the idea is to show people, because a lot of people, they see things at work and they copy it. But if someone could go and copy what I'm doing with the swinging targets, just to show general public what, how this thing works.
Yeah.
I don't care if they sit in an office job or they're a little kid. Man, it works for all of them.
Yeah.
And it is nuts. It will spin you out within, what does it take? 2 to 4 hours to shoot. Like if you can get your bow, if we can get your bow to shoot out, say 100, in 2 to 4 hours, you'll shoot that.
Yeah, when you said that is nuts.
Yeah, and your eyes are going to be able to see as well. You've got to be able to see well enough. But whatever your max distance is, consistently 3 shots, not a problem. And I'd like to say over 50 metres. You mean?
And how are you with safety? Pretty good?
Mate, what do you mean? we don't start and we go through safety.
Well, you don't know, mate. Some people are just like out there like, here's a bow,
Yeah, well, you can't really shoot yourself with a bow, but you can shoot other people.
Don't say that to me. I'll be the first guy that shoots myself in the foot.
You just can't.
I suppose.
You just can't. If you've hard to shoot yourself in the foot, you really have to put some serious effort in to shoot yourself in the foot. But yeah, I love that, man. That is an awesome question about safety. Huge on safety. Massive. Like I see people shooting in small backyards. So, those little tin fences.
Yeah.
Most of your bows will shoot arrows through that tin.
Yep. Far out.
Yep. And then you go your higher grade bows, so about 60 pound up, will go through those asbestos fences, the old fibro fences.
Wow.
So now considering we're mostly going tin as opposed to fibro, you probably get a 50 pound arrow go through that. So yeah, I'd say just safety number one is people shooting in backyards. They're better off to go join a club or club's probably the best way to do it because they got a target range set up. It's insurance. So a big thing with that going to a club as opposed to like out in the bush, whatever, insurance. Insurance is massive. So some of the stuff done with the government, they'd prefer us use, say, a 308. This is just an example of, and this is about bows, but with a 308, we can load the round down and we can run a lighter projectile that will fragment.
Sure.
So it won't make it out the other side.
Sure.
So one thing about the bow is that arrow that we want at the poundage we need to use for it is going to go through and keep going. If that makes sense.
Mm.
So for me to slow the arrow down, the arrow is going to be hanging out of it. They don't want to see an arrow hanging out of something.
Right, gotcha.
So then it goes into ethical and whatnot. So the bows with the government, not so good. The RSPCA, from what I'm told, the RSP are more supportive of it due to the fact that we've got some training involved or some training in place with a company called the ABA, Australian Bow Hunters Association.
Right.
And that is the proficient bow hunter. So before you can go and put claims in on stuff that you've hunted, you've got to do a proficiency course. Pretty full on, really full on.
So that's all new to me. So whenever you hunt, you put a claim on that.
Not everything, but I do it just to support the ABA.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
So it's part of their organisation.
Yeah, because I like their rules.
Yeah,
and I like that they've put the effort in to put a proficiency thing in place.
Yeah, it's good.
And from what I'm told, the RSPCA recognises that.
Okay.
Because you've got to be proficient to shoot something with a bow. That makes sense?
Yeah, sure.
So you got to prove you can shoot. You got to prove you've got the understanding to field dress and all your survival stuff and your safety.
Yeah, safety is a big thing.
Yeah, biggest thing with bows is your broadheads generally when you're hunting want to be razor sharp.
Sure.
You want to keep them buggers covered up or don't walk around with it hanging out of your bow.
Yeah.
So many people have tripped over and stabbed themselves.
Yeah. It's like I was in the Philippines and the guy goes, "Have you ever shot a gun?" I was like, "No." And he goes, "Come out." And he took me out into this in the middle of nowhere. He's got a 45 and he gives me these bullets and he goes, "All right, this is what you do now you're not going to stand still. You're going to be running with this thing."
Bloody hell.
So there was a course and I'm like, do I have to run? I've not shot this thing before. I haven't shot a gun before. It's like, you do this, then you put the safety on with your thumb, and then you run with the gun beside you, then you take the safety off and you shoot. And mate, I was shaking. I got footage of it. But I'm like, first time ever, I'm running with a 45, shooting this thing in the middle of the bush in the Philippines. I loved it. Because at the end of it, you're just like, geez. But yeah, there was no safety. It's like in South Africa, no safety.
Yeah.
They took us out in helicopters, no braces. They took the doors off and it was just these Huey helicopters from Vietnam.
Oh, they're still flying them.
Yeah. They've got the largest fleet. It's the Working on Fire group over there that controls all the fires.
Yep.
The fire department, so they own the largest fleet of Huey helicopters from Vietnam.
But they're still using them.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you run helicopters here, they have a certain amount of hours.
Right.
And they go fully rebuilt.
Oh, no.
No. Got it.
And we had these old frail seat belts we'd put on and we'd have our cameras because we were taking footage. And when the helicopter banked, because my feet couldn't touch the road, I'm just hanging out of this with an old seat belt.
No.
And there was just no safety. No. We were sitting there. A friend of mine was just pouring with cold sweat, and we had to stop. They would just literally give us a pilot and say, "Go out, take footage," for an hour or so. It was great, but man, like hearing all this stuff about Australia is so good though. Like, it's so nice that, like you said, you want to inspire people in an ethical way to go out, hunt, cook, eat, and have that process. I think a lot of people would love that, especially in Australia.
Yeah, there's also a really big part of it is psychology when it comes to bows.
You were saying before.
To be able to shoot super accurate. I want people to tune their bows and shoot super accurate. You know what I mean? If they do it, like what I'm doing as well, the psychology behind it makes you a different person. But that psychology is massive around mental health.
Yeah, I hear.
Huge.
Well, in what you're doing?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And that's why I like bringing people into it, because it not only it gives you a huge awareness, because you have to be of what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're pulling a shot, mate, if you're not hitting your target, probably about 70-80% of it is you.
Yeah.
It's not the bow. The bow's easy to set up. You're the trick. You're the hardest bit. That makes sense?
Especially at that critical point of letting go, you're leading down to that one critical point, breathing, concentration, everything.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's a big deal.
Well, it is, but you were saying it comes so instinctively after a while when you stop thinking about it.
It comes instinctively. And you know how you get it to stop thinking about it? Either get tired, like wear them out. That's what I find. People usually wear out in probably about 20 minutes. They start getting tired. Oh, this bow's hard to pull back now. And I'll just sit there emailing and stuff like that. Yeah, no, keep shooting. Keep shooting. I'm just watching them. Yeah, no, keep shooting. You're right. And I'll watch them and go, ooh, and they're struggling. Might just have a break. No, you're right. Keep shooting. Oh, I'm going to have a break now. Shut the phone down. Righto. Let's do it. Let's get this sorted.
That's the time.
Yeah, because what happens once you get tired, it's like in your training. Once you get tired, you stop stuffing around.
Yeah.
I can't afford to waste any more energy. So when they do go pull their bow back, I ain't stuffing around. I don't want to do this again. So, man, they're such perfect form.
There's no hesitation.
No, they don't fuck around at all. They're like, yeah, what's this? It's perfect.
Isn't that crazy? It's amazing.
Because they won't chuck it. They won't do nothing. They're just like, I know what to do. We've gone over it so many times. And then they just start doing it. And you're like,
because they stop thinking about it.
And their head, they're so tired, worn out, they want to give up. Then they do this and they go, holy, wow. And they're gone from too tired to this is wicked. And that's a changing point.
Wow. Yeah. And you see that?
Oh, yeah, I see it. I love it.
I think as well is, you're saying good for mental health. It's just getting people out in nature.
Agreed.
Getting them away from the city, getting them out in nature, to that primal instinct that everyone has.
Yeah, just being able to show them as well.
Clean. Yeah.
Being able to show people what they got.
Yeah.
That's the craziest bit to watch. Like the kids don't really pick up on it because they know they've got it.
Yeah.
But as adults, you're a kid, you do this, you do that. You don't look at any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So they already know they can do it. For some reason, they've got it. It's only us as adults. Like you were saying, we're taking someone, like I'm experienced, take someone out not experienced, and I'm learning from them. Because all this experience, I've got all these expectations. Yeah. But they've got no experience. So our expectations are different. So they're coming back to us with these new ideas. I'm like, all right, that's a bloody good idea. I didn't think of that. And I'll tell them. So I'm like, mate, never thought of it.
So if people want to contact you, Pete, on where can they find you online? And if they were like, I've got to get a hold of this guy, because you'll probably get it now from all over the world.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going.
People from Mexico. I mean, my podcast,
I've been to Mexico.
Belgium.
Let's go.
They'll be like, yeah, so where can people find you?
Online, if they shoot me a private message, they'll get hold of us.
Don't say that. You get flooded.
That's
no, what's your website?
iHunt Downunder.
iHunt Downunder. I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, right.
And do you have a Facebook and Instagram?
Yep, iHunt Downunder. And yeah, so Facebook and Insta is iHunt Downunder. Obviously, my name's Pete Griffiths, and on TikTok, I think I'm Pete Griffiths 5.
Okay.
So
I'll put that in.
I got to be careful on TikTok because you're not allowed pictures of guns.
Mate, I'm not even on TikTok.
Oh, bro, TikTok goes nuts.
Yeah, it goes nuts.
Because they're not used to this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Unless you can.
But you know what, mate? You're a good-looking fellow, right? You're an Aussie.
Yeah.
You're out in the outback. Like, how could that not go well in other parts of the world, especially in the United States?
Oh, as soon as I moved my address from the page to the States, and it's just absolutely nuts.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. Nah. Well, good luck to you, man. Like, I really enjoyed this conversation because, well, one is I do podcasting. It's a self-indulgent thing where I took it up so I could talk. I have an excuse to talk to people I would not necessarily get to talk to.
Yep.
If I had to say, hey, Pete, I'm a friend of this and can I borrow your coffee? You're too busy. A lot of people are busy, But if I turn around and say, well, it's like you said, it's a trade, right? I'll give you a platform, but I get to learn, and it's so nice. But this is something I knew nothing about, but I wanted to know. And so when you were coming on, I was like, oh, this is going to be so good.
Well, I'd love to put that experience out there for you and do both. So if you go get a bow, I'm happy to walk through, contact us, whatnot. If you go get a bow, I'll do that tuning for you. And also the moving target, I'll do that with a different kind of bow. So
Okay.
that'll be 2
Okay.
different bows, right?
Okay.
And I'll show you we could do it all in a day.
Have you had a doco done on you?
No. But the deal is I'll take you that and we'll film a bit of it and just show you. But the scary bit is watching what you can actually do with no experience, what your genetics allows you to do.
Sure.
That makes sense? And then the psychology from when you start to about 4 hours later with the bow, and watch what your psychology does. It's
great.
Change within 4 hours. You're like, oh, wow, it's really strong awareness of your abilities and choices.
That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. Suddenly this primal Asian comes out, the Asian side of me I don't know anything about, and I'll be out there with a Bowie knife, like, screw the bow.
Wait for the blow pop.
No, man, thanks so much for coming on, and I really enjoyed it, and look forward to seeing what you do in the future, but hopefully we'll keep in touch now and from there.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, you too.